Welcome and blessed be. This is an online mini tutorial with Lucy Cavendish about the art of spellcrafting and casting. I'm very passionate about spellcrafting, and I'm very passionate about the methods we use to cast as well. There's a real tradition and there's a real craft to this. It's called spellcrafting for a reason. And I believe it is something that we learn, and there are grounded traditions that we work out of. Witchcraft is the ancient indigenous practice of many people throughout the British Isles, parts of Europe, throughout Ireland. And in fact, you know, that kind of term has now embraced a very eclectic gathering of magical practices from all around the world. So you'll find people are working with Egyptian magic, or working in ancestral traditions, or they're reconstructing, or perhaps they may be more into druidry. The kind of magic that I work is natural magic, and therefore the spells that I teach and the craft and casting that I teach is very much drawn out of observations of the natural cycles where we live, and also from the perspective of where our ancestors were from and what they learned, because some of that is still cycling within our blood, and therefore we may be wise to draw upon some of those traditions and to work with them, no matter where we are in the world. Where many of us kind of an interesting blend of ancestry and the modern. So for example, I have Northern Hemisphere ancestry, but I live in the Southern Hemisphere. It's necessary for me to work my spells and craft and cast my spells with that understanding of where I am. So for this tutorial and for your work today, what I would love you to do is to firstly connect to where you are now, to think of what part of the cycle of the wheel of the year you're in. Is it a time of endings, beginnings? Is it the time of turning and change? Or is it a time of regrowth and exploration? I'd like you to think a little about your ancestry. Where are your people from? What might their magical practices have been? I want you to be observant and to go and look at the trees and nature today and its manifestations. Are they undergoing growth, or are leaves falling? What flowers are blooming? I want you to observe the sky, the animals. And once we do that, I think we can really begin to do our work. Now, all of this is a process. It's not something we immediately arrive at very quickly. It's a deepening, a softening, and opening up to the natural world, and an entering into the natural world, and a real process of reclaiming our place within that natural world as part of her. Most of our human culture at this point in time is dedicated to removing us from being a part of nature. When we truly spellcraft and truly craft and cast effective spells, what we're beginning to do is work right from the inside out of these natural processes. I want to give you a little bit of homework. I want you to find fire where you are. That sounds a little cryptic, but I want you to find fire where you are. And once we can begin to place these elements, we get a much better understanding of how we can work and cast and craft. If you join me in the course, you will find that each week we're casting and crafting together, and some of these spells are ancient and some of them will be more creative, more adaptive. My true belief is that real spellcrafting and casting comes from a real blending of intent, knowledge, action. There's a huge focus today in spiritual traditions on just working with your intent and intuition. I've said this before, and it greatly concerns me because people are not working from a basis of knowledge, and there's a kind of disrespect for it as well. Within my courses, you will receive information and knowledge that is extremely trustworthy, borne out by thousands of years of ancestral practice. Doesn't mean we're recreating. We are always evolving and practicing, but in order to do this work, we need to acknowledge the ancestors, the cycles of nature, and our own desires. Take a moment now just to soak up the energy of this beautiful Moreton Bay fig, to feel its whispers, sense any messages it may have for you. And I hope to see you soon within the classroom, because I know we can learn and journey together. Blessed be, friends.